Hey, greetings everybody. This is the Art Lexia podcast. This is Wesley Pepper.
And Siza Nkosi.
And this is episode 75.
Yeah.
And just a recap on last week. Thanks to Gary Frier for coming through, my brother. We spoke about his processes, the fact that he used art as a
therapy,
healing.
Yeah. Because he also worked in a lot of like mental institutions and used that to sort of cope. And, we are dealing with a whole lot of that right now. I mean, the depression state is
Yeah.
like
This post pandemic world is difficult. And now we still had this nonsense war very far away, and now there's the fuel prices. But we'll actually be unpacking that a little bit later on in the show. Siza, so you were in Makanda last week.
I was in Makanda in Grahamstown. Actually, I was attending a writers' retreat at the Deep South Retreat Center, and it's run by Robert Berold. He's a very good editor, teacher of poetry. I was joined by 5 other writers. We had Butinqoli Sinyezwa. There was Joanne Maderlekamp. Sorry, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but Joan Mattelkamp, Alan Finlay, and Abigail George. It was an amazing experience to be in a room full of writers and, sharing and writing and experiencing. It was beautiful.
Yeah. So it was a retreat, so you were writing. So what were you busy writing?
Well, I was trying to work on my PhD proposal. So I did a whole lot of that. I mean, I changed the whole thesis. I'm so nervous. Because everything changed. I remember that, poetry is my first love.
Yeah.
So everything sort of changes. But I feel refreshed from the retreat. Beautiful, beautiful landscapes. Like, that place is green, and we didn't have water for like how long?
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, just there's a dam and a farm. It's amazing. It's beautiful. Other people don't worry about
definitely
that.
Sound like you enjoyed it, but
it's interesting.
I know that one of the good things part of that, I guess, enhances your writing or creative processes is changing your space.
Definitely.
Especially something was feeling restricted, just to go
I
away.
just wish it was longer, because I had to readjust, for a few days, get my head into this thing without my daily routine. So I wish it was longer, but it was a week and it was fruitful, I think. Very, very good for the artist in me also.
Yeah, cleansing.
Very much cleansing. Like, we walked up to the dam at some point, there were beautiful animals, a lot of baboons in the area. Okay. It was interesting. But the conversations, were everything for me. Like, we had a poetry reading every evening after dinner. And it was amazing. And you guys will meet the writers soon, actually.
We were gonna do a recording with all of them. There was a bit of a technical issue. I know that came up, and a scheduling thingy, but we're definitely gonna be talking to all of them. We talk processes.
And they're all like spaced out in the world, because Joan is in England, Alan is in Argentina, so
interesting.
It's going to be an interesting conversation for sure, and their projects are interesting. But anyway,
for sure.
Talk about projects.
So you were away. Today's episode is not really centered around a specific theme, like we normally do. Like Caesar was away. I'll be explaining what I've been doing last week. And I'm just going to be breaking down a bit later. Well, we'll get to that. So Gallery 360 Africa is definitely on its way. So that's the new company, and that's an app. So it's an e-store and a streaming platform. So I'm working with developers, MLab. So they're based in Pretoria, but all of them, in fact, work remotely, which is actually quite interesting. So we had to change our the developers team in this week. So now there's 2 new developers. They're all from Polokwane. So this is really interesting that there's no need for an office.
I know, and this is our reality working now. But are we ready? I'm ready for this.
I think we don't have a choice.
Yo, guys, we can't even afford water like some of us,
You can't afford water.
And then
there's power cuts.
data.
There's power cuts.
So it's going to be interesting how it plays out, because I know we were talking about how the arts festival, for example, during lockdown they went online, and then right after that, they are back on doing the things physically, on having the events in a physical space.
Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, like, if you remember this was 2020 with the when the lockdown hit, Grahamstown, it's National Arts Fest. I know the name has changed, but anyway,
it has changed.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of everything all the time. But anyway, the point the point was, I was following it, like so many of us, and I was reading up, and the traffic was substantial. It was too substantial. I noticed a couple of 100,000.
Yeah.
There were people were engaging. They were engaging.
That's interesting.
It is. It's super interesting because it shows you that. Will they be? I mean, in the festival, will they get like over 100,000 people
walking in? It.
You see, and that's the other thing that I found fascinating is like, if that audience was already there without even trying to find them, what if we really try very hard to find them?
Exactly.
And focus on them, because I think we can add to our audience, to our base, by thousands and thousands. So let me actually explain a little bit about that. So the idea is what Gallery 360 Africa. Such a long word, man. What we identified there was the need for an alternative platform for artists, firstly, to sell the work, and the best way to get hold of people of that is on their mobile phone, because everything is run. I mean, apps are a really big deal, and to get hold of everybody, you get hold of people on their cell phone, not a desktop or a laptop in this case. So anyway, so that was the one thing, and the fact that we wanted to create an app that also enhanced the user experience. So our app is going to be very video based, and eventually VR. And so that'll be the e-store. So if you browse through the e-store, you'll be able to interact with the artists. You'll see
so by the artist, you mean only visual artists?
For now, since the tech is still being developed, we're having, because I'm a visual artist, it makes sense. So we're starting with visual art. But the idea is to branch out into books, because the idea is that the e-store is one thing and the streaming platform is the other. And the streaming platform, artists are able to monetize the experience.
Sure.
So the overall idea is for us eventually to get to a space where we can have, for example, let's say a First Thursdays type of gig where we have like 10, 15 gigs all hosted on the app. So the user pays, he goes to multiple gigs, and then there's the e-store where you can interact with the artist. So it's not just like with like now, if you go to any e-commerce store, you just get an image of the artwork and a description. Ours is a bit more interactive.
And I think we need that. I mean, geez, because for me it's always been about access, and I'm sure I'm gonna bring this up every time on this podcast, because it means a lot to me. Like, we don't have access to these things, and we are hoping and trying to get to a point where we buy our own things, so people should know about the art that we do, and interact with us, so that our value also goes up.
Absolutely,
it doesn't just become something for the elite. And
absolutely, most of our audience, like most of our audience exists on Facebook, to be quite honest. A large amount of you are going to be watching this podcast is probably going to see it on Facebook.
That's true.
And we're not monetizing these platforms, because these platforms, firstly, they're owned by Mark Zuckerberg and all those crazy billionaires, weird ass people and I don't trust them. I don't trust what they're doing, and it's either them or China. And the fact that there's so little entrepreneurial, I would say, spirit or just energy around African people is a problem.
It is. It is a problem.
Why are we scared of technology? Why are you scared of technology, Siza?
I'm not scared of technology because, like, technology is a part of us now. Credo Mutwa spoke about this way before it came. He was already looking at robots and stuff like that. And I think it's beautiful, actually, because it's through technology that I linked up with my cousins, from the US after their dad was in exile and ended up there. It has its good use, I suppose. It's just that how do we integrate with all the problems that we have around us socially, economically? Are we ready for this kind of space? And also the
I like the way you say,
control.
are you ready?
Are we ready?
I don't think we are, but I wanna add this perspective to it.
But
nah?
it's great. I love it.
I wanna add this. So I've been following. Remember the Arab Spring, right? That happened I think it really started in 2020. In 2010, sorry, but I know 2011, 2012 was its peak.
Yeah.
And the Arab Spring, at that time Facebook was still relatively new. Obama was using it.
Yeah.
And it became a real thing, and I mean, like, people saw it as a political tool. So here's this quote unquote social, he's not, but like, here's this black dude in America, and then there's the Arab Spring. So if you look at that was about 10 or many years ago.
Sure.
That was perceived as being a good thing, but then the alt-right saw it, and then Bolsonaro, Trump, Le Pen in France, they all. My thing is, the point is that I just think that it's just right now we're just being bothered by the right, by the alt-right, and all these other conspiracy linked type of things. I still think technology can be used for good.
No,
I don't think it's just a bad thing.
It's not. It's just that it's also, dude. Like, what happens to us writers? Like, are books going to die? Well,
Do you think that's a
I don't
lot of
think they
a lot of
will.
writers are asking that?
But I don't think they will. There's something special about having a physical copy of the book and for a writer to be published.
Yeah,
But
now there's an alternative.
now there's an alternative. Both can exist.
I think they can both exist. I think the problem is that we are sort of being told that they can't exist together, and I think they can exist together. I think we can have a arts festival with live venue,
Absolutely.
that is quote unquote jam packed, and have a digital presence that can be streamed, and we can monetize it all over the world. Because there's one thing that we do know is that they love our art.
Exactly. It's like those live music shows, right?
Yeah.
Like, you hardly inside the concert, but you're viewing it from the DVD, you feel the energy. I just think we need to work on how we even present that to make it real and comfortable and that kind of stuff. Because I think it's where we are.
Yeah, that's a good point. And when those so we're talking early 2000, mid 2000, those live DVDs was a thing.
Yeah. And did we not watch them?
No, I remember that well. And you'll play the whole hour, or it's usually about an hour. So you feel, and you'll play it over and over. Yeah.
But I also like the archiving element of this technology thing. Like, nothing is lost.
Yeah.
Like, everything is documented, and I love that about technology, really.
Yeah, and access, man. Like you're saying, being documented, so it always.
You can always
be able to access it, and if you look at well, we can definitely agree with that. So that's what we're doing regarding the app. It'll be done. You'll be hearing about it in a few.
Yeah, it's exciting. We look forward to it, man. And please support. It's Gallery 360 Africa coming.
Yes,
soon.
like, subscribe, comment, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that and unpacking. And I've got some episodes with some of the developers and some of the team that is creating the technology. Because there's one thing that I find super interesting about the lack of, or rather, let me put it like this: I think there's a real lack of art involvement in technology, and I think we just how we think can actually.
But do you think the government is supportive?
They don't.
Like, why?
They don't.
They don't understand technology.
That's a good question. I mean, we can sit here and put conspiracy theories on why.
Yeah, because it's interesting.
The point is that they don't. Why isn't our kids learning coding in school?
Exactly.
Why is not primary school, or when, I don't know, when you start learning, or but like I know that
should be
coding
there.
coding is not is not required as a big,
Yeah.
and I'm starting to the way I'm an artist at but like this tech thing is I'm learning it as we're going
As we
on.
go.
Yeah, and what I'm learning, like just the lingo, like is massive. Like
I know.
there's
I'm
all
like,
these like different terms and I use it. Like I think even
and
that to
all
me
these
is a
different
thing.
apps. Like my
Yeah,
life
and
is
it's
around apps.
overwhelming.
But we need apps, guys. I can tell you how much they save my life also. It's quite interesting, but also it's a lot.
Yeah, the one thing, and this I think is also a relevant point. Yeah, is one thing where the mistrust with technology come is data harvesting. Is
Yeah.
so I mean the biggest companies trading on global stock exchanges are all database companies. I know data harvesting is a big
Yeah.
big money thing.
Making.
And so what we did with we looked at so there's the Poppy Act in South Africa.
Yeah.
I can't bring that's a very boring document. I struggled to read the whole thing. I'm
Yeah.
as honest, so I got people to help
To
me
look
out
at
with
that.
it. And what we did, we took the whole what we're gonna be using people's data to just like another similar algorithm like with like what Netflix does is that they pick up what you like and they curate content and they give you. So we're gonna do the same thing with art,
Sure.
right? But
Sure.
there's a disclaimer. So as soon as the
Terms and conditions.
yeah, as soon as the user logs in, because you need to sign in. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's disclosed there, and I've actually looked a bit deeper into it, and it's actually quite a thing because not a lot of companies disclose that, and that's where the gray line and then these companies and some of them that don't disclose that are not always honest with what they do.
But I mean, I like that you're even an artist and thinking about yourself, for a change. Like, how do I make money in this art? Because, it's been really, really tough.
Yes, man.
Like, you have to learn these technology terms and how things work. It's commendable.
Thank you. Like I think we have to change, man. If there's one thing that COVID that this pre-pandemic the COVID pandemic has taught is that the whole thing didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't work for me. Certainly, I definitely didn't work for me. It worked for me sometimes, but it definitely didn't work for me all the time.
Yeah.
And it's foolish to think that it will work in this new.
But we'll see. We're excited. We're looking forward to things and, growing the art Lexia, guys. Make sure you like and comment, engage us, We'd like to hear what you're thinking. What are your views about all these things we are rambling about? Do let us know.
Yeah, do let us know, man.
Yeah. And what else we wanted to talk about this week? I know you wanted to touch on the PhD awarding
well
situation.
Well look here, before I'll explain this to the listeners. So we keep in touch with trends generally, social, political, everything, art, tech, and so I will share a few ideas. See, maybe this is good or this is not, and just like we do that, just like with our guests. In fact, we can tell them about our future about episodes a bit later as well.
Sure.
And here's the other thing, and I thought it'll be interesting to get Siza's point of view because she is a PhD student and she has a lot of opinions about the processes. I understand the processes is overwhelming.
It is overwhelming. It is, and I don't want to talk about it now, but
it's overwhelming.
Like, it's a lot, guys. I don't want to talk about that now, but what I do want to talk about, I know you were mentioning Taylor Swift, and I wasn't totally aware of what's going on there, but Makosa Zanakaba, the poet, also got an honorary degree. So it's interesting, which is good. It's a good thing that we get recognized. Diana Ferris as well got an honorary degree. But it makes sense because you're doing your PhD, you don't have a supervisor. No one can supervise you because there's no one trained in that field, like in my case, it's poetry. So I think it's a great thing. I think there's more to give, actually. away, just so that we are also, as people of color, we're on the same level, because the difference is still too huge. It makes the whole process frustrating.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. So what I think, just for the listeners, we definitely want to cover some more of those topics in the future and talk to other academics, and people, and so they can talk just about their process and their art. Well, in your case, their writing. Yeah, I consider that as art as well.
Of course.
And I also think it's also very important to have a very critical look at these things, because just in closing point on that, like, I think the whole Taylor Swift, I think her music is, I don't like her music. And like, I feel like she was like, if she can, if they gave her the award. I thought that was quite something. Anyway,
you'll be surprised.
Yeah, and
it is what it is.
Yeah. So on this platform, we wanna talk about what truth to power. Yeah. Anyway, I think we can wrap up here, my sister. And
sure.
Since there was no central theme in today's episode, let's talk about our future guests, man. We've got some really cool people lined up.
Like I said, the writers that I was with in Makanda, as well as Sabelo Sogo, will be on very soon. Katie Njangase will still have to link up with her, but she's definitely joining us. And so there's this group called Book Club, Everything Club, the Fat Cats. We will be chatting to the chairperson of the Book Club, Fat Cats leg. So yeah, interesting stuff coming up.
Yeah, for sure.
It's gonna be interesting. Oh, and Mkhululi Mabija, actually.
Oh yeah.
I think we're having him next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
So also just to explain that, so we want to try to do a lot more video, which is why we're experimenting with this medium like right now, and it was kind of successful. Yeah, and you can tell it's winter in South Africa. We want to experiment a bit more with the YouTube platform, and I'll be publishing this on our Captivate platform, and it'll still be you'll still be able to access it, the audio on Spotify and iTunes and all those other streaming platforms too. And but we're gonna switch it up as well. So not some of our guests will be live, but most of them will be through Zoom. We're still looking how we can produce that into. Yeah, we're still looking at a few technical things around that. So all of the guests, you see that. So all these guests that we mentioned, you will be able to see them. So look forward to that. And thanks to Julius Patson from Harare. He's the cat that's putting all of this together. Salute, my king. And
thank you for tuning in. And for liking us and following us. Just let's keep on doing that, guys. Much love to you.
Yeah, much love to everybody. They say keep safe and whatnot. I think
warm and what.
Keep warm. I've got a bit of a cold. I've been trying not to sneeze. So anyway, we'll catch you next week.
Later.